Welcome everybody to the next edition of the Stay on Course podcast. Today I have Audree Grubesic, who's a true champion of modern construction, innovation, and a leader dedicated to advancing offsite and modular business as smarter, faster, and more sustainable. With over 25 years of experience in revenue growth, real estate development, modular strategy, and construction technology, she brings a powerful perspective on how the industry can build better for businesses and teams and communities. And today, we are going to be talking about the 5 pillars of heart-centered leadership. Audree, welcome to the Stay on Course podcast.
This is wonderful. Thank you for having me today, Julie.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you here. But before we get started, I ask all of my guests, what is your favorite food?
You know, it's funny. This kind of makes me laugh myself, but I have to say, I am just a big lover of pizza. It doesn't matter, any type. I am a big fan. I can't give it up. I love it.
Pizza is amazing. I love pizza. It's a great, excellent choice.
Yeah, right? You can never go wrong. There's never a wrong piece of pizza.
Never a wrong piece of pizza. Audree, what are you busy working on right now?
So we are very excited. I have lots of streams that I kind of work in. As you mentioned before, I work in offsite construction and I have a media company called Offsite Dirt Network. We have had that programming for about 7 years. And we have met people all over the globe that work in modular or modern methods of construction, which includes offsite construction, which is modular. It could be panelized, it can be lean manufacturing. It's everything that has to do with construction. So that's been very exciting. And from that, and doing events and meeting people and talking about real estate deals and development deals, we've kind of moved into this thing called becoming human again. And this becoming human again, as we all know, we're all so busy. It seems like since COVID, we started working from our homes and then starting picking up all these different projects and jobs and timelines and busyness just to keep up with the amount of work that's coming towards us. So with that, we kind of created this event, as you know, Becoming Human Again events, in order for people to stop and pause. And from that, over the last 10 years and being in construction and being stressed and doing all these things, I started to realize that I needed to start being more connected to my heart, getting out of my head all the time and kind of remaining into this heart center to understand not only myself, but where I'm going to be headed in the next 10 years to have more longevity and more connectivity.
Wow. And it's coming just at the right time as we're moving into this AI transformation and people not trusting a lot of the content that's going out there and just overall not trusting. And so we need to be able to look inward. And that's where we're taking this conversation today.
Absolutely. And I think you and I both agree that everything starts with the self. Everything starts with loving yourself. You know, we hear this all the time. All you have to do is just love yourself and everything's great. But when you start hearing negative comments and you start pushing yourself in a corner and you start having depression, you start having all these feelings and you're not understanding where they're coming from or how to identify them or why they're even happening, it puts you in a tailspin. And
Yeah.
I truly believe with all the people that I've talked to, more and more and more of us are starting to realize how important it is to just breathe, to take a step back, to start identifying the things that we want and we need. And I love, that you are living on purpose. I love that stay on course. It's all these things to remind us how important we are for ourselves.
Yeah, it is. It's true. And especially those in leadership, right? We need to look at like what leadership really is. And we're helping other people lead better at their jobs and potentially their homes. But the truth is if we do not look inwardly and do the growth work ourselves, we are not ready to lead. And so I'm excited to learn these 5 principles that you're going to teach us today.
Yeah, so I started, I've had this journey over the last 10 years, and I was one of those people. 10 years ago, just to give you an example of my life, I started Modular SureSight, which is a consulting company. So I started building modular homes. I quickly picked up 5 projects and I was traveling 500 miles a week. I had children in high school and at that time I was managing projects. I had children, I had a family, I had my husband. I was working 18-hour days. That one year I took 2 days off. My mornings would start at 6 in the morning. They would end at 10 o'clock at night. And this was a reoccurrence, right? So I was completely exhausted, completely just drawn out, reactive to every single thing around me. I couldn't figure out, like, I had like a fog over me. So I was going through all this transformation, I guess you could say. And
Yeah.
one day I came home and I decided that I heard about meditation first. And I heard, God, there's so many great things about it. And from meditation, I heard that, gosh, if you write a gratitude journal and just the things that you're grateful for, it maybe starts changing your mindset. And then I heard if you just breathe for like 2 minutes in the morning, it will reset your day.
You know what? I just want to stop you there because everything that you just talked about is free.
Yes, it is free, right? It's a
Everything.
commitment and a change and a practice.
It's like the answer to your problems was completely free.
Completely free. And I think this is the thing we forget. We think that we have to go get that like the next drug, or we have to go to this counselor, we have to change rearrange our entire lives. And these are
Right.
simple, easy practices.
It's
So
so simple.
it's
But
so simple.
yeah.
So that was the beginning. I started every morning breathing for 2 minutes, laying in bed. Every night before I would go to bed, I would name 20 things that I was grateful for.
Wow.
Throughout the day, I would just step back and I would just breathe. So that kind of led me into this coherence art, these pillars that
Mm.
I feel are the principles. So the 5 pillars are awareness, identity, purpose, connection, and integration. So when we talk about awareness, we're noticing what is happening within us.
Mm.
These are all the different things from emotions to how we feel about stuff, conversations, what we are aware of around us,
Yeah.
and why it's important.
And why? And I just want to stop you right there because this is the biggest. This is the beginning of growth is the self-awareness part. And listen, if you are an entrepreneur and you've gone through the first year, 2 years of business, you are faced up against yourself in so many difficult ways. I think, I want to talk about this just a little bit because I don't think people are sharing the difficulties that entrepreneurs have as they start up, right? Because you will be faced with all of your childhood trauma during this time as you start your businesses. And the awareness, if you can bring the self awareness to actually what's happening, acknowledging it and like making friends with it and sort of working it through, the faster you're going to get to making money in your business. It's very spiritual, Audree. And, that awareness is the beginning of it all.
I agree. And when you are an entrepreneur, all of a sudden you're not doing one job. You're doing 10 jobs. You're
Mm.
the accountant, you're the marketer, you're the salesperson. I mean, it's amazing when you step into that arena, but then yet there's freedom.
Yes, it
Because
is.
now you're starting to realize how you create your schedule, what things give you freedom, where are you growing, what are the next tasks that you need to do. I think with the classes and things that you teach, Julie, there's so many easy ways to doing things better. And I think you need the awareness to know that those are out there.
Mm. Yeah. And don't do it alone, right? There's
Don't do it
communities
alone.
out there. That's what I tell people as soon as I meet them. If they're a small business owner, I'm like, get in community because that is the biggest red flag. Like if you're sitting there by yourself grinding and doing this all alone and you don't have a community, you don't have people to lean on, I think the likelihood that you're going to survive the grind is goes down. Like I'd like to get the stats on that.
I agree. And we were talking why leadership matters. Leaders set the tone. A reactive leader creates urgency, tension, and confusion. A responsive leader creates clarity, trust, and direction.
Mm.
So we have to start thinking about how we lead. And the other thing that I think is really interesting is understanding our masculine energy, which is setting goals, creating plans, making decisions, driving results. And then you have your feminine energy, which is listen and observe, build relationships, read the room, encourage ideas and creativity. There's so many parts to awareness. It's not just sitting there and being like, oh, here it is, right?
Yeah.
Things
Yeah.
you have to actually know and work on.
Wow. What is the next part of
So the,
this?
the next one is identity, understanding who you are and when you are clear. So there are these four identity alignment process. One is awareness, recognizing the identity you are currently operating from, like what patterns are showing up when you're under pressure, what beliefs are you driving with your decisions, where
Mm.
are you reacting instead of choosing. Deconstruction is the challenge and release identities that no longer serve you. Where did these beliefs come from? Are they based on truth or conditioning? What is costing you in leadership and life? The next step is redefinition, intentionally choosing to identify what you and where you want to lead from. So, who do I choose to be as a leader? What values guide my decisions? What does alignment or aligned leadership look like for me?
Mm.
Really having a clear, grounded leadership identity. And then last one is embodying it. Consistently live and express that identity. How do I show up in conversations? What do I make? How do I make decisions under pressure? How do others experience me? Identifying becomes visible, trusted, and repeatable.
Mm. A lot of thinking, a lot of retrospection here. And this is part of the work, right? It's asking these questions when you have the time and the space to answer them and actually answer these questions and read them over. And so this starts to become the work, the growth work that you're talking about here.
And making us clear because I don't know if we ever really stop and think about what do I want? You think about people are like, I'm gonna bring this to myself. I want $1 million. Great, you can have $1 million. You can have 10 or $100 million. But what is going to get you there? How do you see yourself? How are you planning it? How are you identifying it? I think and asking yourself these questions because it doesn't just appear because you're going to say it. It
Yeah.
appears because you're going to know it,
Yes.
right? That's the change of where it's at. So this one you're going to love. This is the next step, which is purpose.
Mm.
How and what you are here to do.
Hmm.
Purpose as a strategic advantage. Most leaders think purpose is emotional. Purpose provides direction during uncertainty, stabilizing during change, meaning different struggles, focus during distraction. Without purpose, people choose opportunities. With purpose, people create intentional outcomes.
Yeah, I love talking about purpose. And there's a lot of controversy around purpose because
Mhm.
everybody has their own definition of what that is and what that means. And some people believe they came here with a particular mission to complete. And so I love talking about it. It's something I became very interested in after I went to the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People class that I talk about all the time. And they have this whole chapter on beginning with the end in mind. And much like an architect, they build the blueprint. We build blueprints of our lives and then we build the life, right? And that's part of the process of creating your own purpose and to living out your purpose. But I think, one of the things, I don't know if I told you this, but my father had like a near death experience.
No, I don't
This
know
is
if I
a
heard this one, Julie.
I don't think I told you this. So my father had a near death experience, and I think I think I was young when he told me this, but he
Uh,
said he went and he died and he went to heaven and he met Jesus and his mother was there and everybody and they said to him, "You must go back. Your mission has not been completed." Just like that. That's exactly
love
what he
it.
came back with, and I'm like, "Wow." did that really happen? Of course, I believe him, right? I believe what my
Yeah,
father said. That was his experience. And so I'm
right.
like that sat with me for so long. Okay, they're sending him back because he had a mission to finish. What was the mission? Maybe it was that he needed to finish his book to give to me before he died. Maybe that was his mission because now I've now carried out his legacy because at that point he had not even thought about writing a book. But the idea that we're here for a specific thing is very interesting and that we need to discover what that is through the work of self-awareness.
Yeah, and I think in this time and space and this and who we are, I think we make it complicated. I know I used to. I think things through a little bit differently. Like when you're talking about purpose, this is how I would frame it. What matters most to you? Period. What matters most to you?
Yeah.
What are your values? What principles guides your decisions? What am I naturally gifted at?
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
What am I here to create?
Exactly. And when you get into that flow and there's something that just like clicks inside of you and you know,
You
and
know
you
it. It's
you
an
just
instant
know.
knowing, right? And that's
Hmm.
the instant knowing of where we're at. Like we live our purpose every single day in all these different capacities. I think we get also caught up on what is the main purpose, right?
Right.
My
Yes.
purpose is
It's
to do this.
it's a great it's a
It's
byproduct. And so what the funniest part is like when I first started down this path, I thought, "Oh, my purpose is to help other people find their purpose." Right? That's what I thought my
yeah,
purpose was. But
yeah.
what ends up happening is that's part of it, but also it's everything that extends outside of that. Like, and that's where the stay on course comes in. So now you know what it is. Now you have to actually facilitate it here on earth. And while you're here,
Yeah, and
do the
action,
thing.
right? Taking action and creating
Action.
practice. I think the thing about, so every day for the last 10 years, I get up every single morning and I meditate. It could be 2 minutes, it can be an hour, it could be an hour and a half. The reason why that's so important is that practice helps me gain clarity and run more in a successful way, in a positive way, in a more aware way, right? This is the thing that
Yes.
works for me. Now, when we talk about meditation, meditation is so many different things. You could be a person that walks outside and takes a like 5 minute walk, and that resets you. That's meditation. Meditation could be in your kitchen cooking dinner. It doesn't mean it has to be a practice where you're like me and you sit there for an hour and you're going through this practice of how you need to be more aware. It's just a practice. And I think that's the other thing that we are missing because we don't have the time. We're so busy. Everything is crazy around us. We've got all these demands. We've got children and we've got families and we've got partners and we have all these things that we're trying to help other people with. And we forget about our own self and we forget about our own awareness and we forget about doing the practices that bring joy for ourselves.
All right. So you have to take us through one of these.
Okay, so what we'll do is you and I were kind of talking about let's just start with breath because I think that's the easiest, that's free, right? And breath is so important in all areas of our life, in any decision making, and anything that we need to do to be more relaxed and to be more aware. So, in this process, there are three different breaths. There's the 60-second reset, there's the coherence breath, and the observer reset breath. So, we're just going to do the 60-second reset breath, right? And basically, this breath is really just as easy as this, Julie. Sitting for 60 seconds, 1 minute, put a timer on your clock, and you are just closing your eyes. So let's just close our eyes, and we're just going to take deep breaths. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. We're going to do that again. Breathe through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And two more. Breathe through the nose, out through the mouth. And last one, breathe through the nose, the deepest breath. Fill your stomach, fill your lungs, and then out through the mouth. How do you feel, Julie?
I feel like relaxed. I could fall asleep now.
You feel relaxed, right? You took a breath, you took a moment to just calm your body.
Yes, I did. I was just thinking if you're out there listening and you're driving, don't close your eyes if you want to practice this with us.
Although you don't have to close your eyes, but you could still do the breath,
Yeah, I
right?
was thinking that you could do that.
Yeah.
You can meditate while you're driving, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, we laugh about it, but it's very powerful. And if you are in a very stressful situation, if you are making a big decision, if you woke up on the wrong side of the bed and everything was going just the opposite direction of what you could even possibly think, by just stopping and breathing for 1 minute and bringing that calmness back into your body, it switches something in you and it changes the energy around you.
Yeah, it does.
And we are all energy. We're all energy. You can feel when you walk into a room, a person that you really like, you just feel attracted to them. Typically, they have really good energy. The
Yeah,
person that walks in the room that's angry, they don't even have to say anything. You could see it on their face, you could feel it in their body. It's energy.
I know.
Change the energy.
People just don't realize how their energy is like literally creating their life
Yes, yes,
and their words. Their
abs-
words.
absolutely.
Oh my
Absolutely. I
gosh.
think the next thing that I'd love to kind of talk about is connection intelligence, which is
Yes,
another
I want to
part,
talk
right?
about that. Yeah, let's talk
So
about
when we think about the opportunities that we create, we're creating them because we're meeting the right the right people. Julie, you and I met. Was following you on LinkedIn, and then I kind of was like, I sent you a text through, or a message, direct message through LinkedIn, and we connected. Right? Easily, just that's an easy thing for anybody to do in the business world. Connect through LinkedIn, greatest platform ever. And you know how much I love social media.
yeah.
So just connecting there. Connections with people is how we are basically connecting as an act of service. Most influential people ask this: how can I help? Not what can I get? Who needs support? Who needs connection? Who should I know? And how should I reach out to them? So, most influential people today are asking, not what's it in for me? They're asking, how can I help?
Hmm.
So, Julie, when you think about the people that you help with staying on course or living with their purpose, how do you help them?
I help them by helping them talk through and get the clarity that they need to do the thing. And then I help build some frameworks around that and also help them remove obstacles from here, from their mind. And so
Right.
I'm just a guide. Really, I'm a guide to help them facilitate their purpose.
I think the one thing that I love about Julie, what you have done is there's several things, but one in particular is the framework that you put together for a playbook. When you and I talked, and I have 5 different companies that I'm running, and with those companies, it was looking at the businesses, structuring them and having an identity to them, and then the awareness of how do I want to create the leader that I am in order to be most effective in those businesses. But through all of that experience, through all of that planning, is still the nature of connecting not only with yourself, but the people that are on the team or the people that you need to bring into your companies. It's all about connection.
Yeah.
And I think you do that beautifully. I love that you do that. So the last part of the coherence arc is really about the integration, right? It's about how do I bring all of these different pieces, awareness, identity, purpose, and connection, and integrate it. So the biggest thing that you and I both know is personal growth and the reflection of it. What have I discovered about myself? What patterns have I become aware of? What
Mm.
beliefs have shifted me? What relationships have changed? What am I no longer willing to carry? And what am I ready to embrace? What am I
Mm.
ready to embrace? I think we get so caught up on the to-doing all the time and the creating all the time. I think we have to think about how do we embrace this? How do we receive it? I
Yeah,
was always, I started in TV in my first part of my career, and it was always about how much I could do for everybody else. What can I do for you? How can I do for you? And I kept trying to make sure everybody around me was happy and satisfied and meeting deadlines and doing all that stuff. And now I look back and I wish I would have been a little bit more subtle to myself and thinking about how do I receive the things that I'm getting too? Because when I fill my cup and when I receive and I'm feeling centered and I'm feeling good, then I can actually be a better person for others because
true.
it just happens that way.
It's true. You know, we also need to enjoy the fruit of our labor, right? And to receive the fruit of our labor because we work hard. And if you're an executive, a CEO, you're putting in a lot of hours, and there has to be a moment of time where you're like, wow. I know you don't want to say I did this, but like you did. You freaking did the thing. And there has to be a moment where or moments, right, that we like celebrate that.
We do. And then we also need tools in order to be the most effective person that we can be. Because here's the thing, if we are centered and we are feeling good and we are excited about life, that energy, that positivity, it basically attracts other positivity. It attracts these tools, right? It attracts these people. Um, when I think about like a 10-minute guided integration, this is what my practice looks like. It's breath awareness, it's gratitude, it's body awareness, because if I'm feeling tense or stressed, emotional, sad, angry, it's in my body. Reconnection to the purpose, and then future self visualization. We hear about this all the time in athletes about how these amazing athletes are able to do these awesome like competitions and challenges. And they do it because they have self-visualization. They're visualizing their
Yeah.
self being successful. What's your feeling about self-visualization?
Oh my gosh. So I'm really into visualization, especially where I do it is right before I fall asleep at night. I I sometimes just like have these wild imaginations of the things that I want to happen or thoughts and or I'll build a scenario in my mind. Like I'll actually see it in my mind. And I think that's what you're talking about is like that visualization. And that's when I have time to do that or I have like a space to do it because there's nothing else going on in that moment besides I'm falling asleep. And I love sleep. Sleep is like so important to me. I'm very regimented in that. So I think that if you want to do anything big in this world, these these techniques, meditating, writing things down. I'm big into journaling. So not just journaling meditation or your gratitudes, but journaling what you want to happen. So as you're journaling, you could be visualizing what you want to happen, but getting very clear on what those things are. Audrey, I didn't tell you, I name every year. I give like every year a name.
Oh,
And
wow. That's so
I,
funny.
I give
What
every
was your
year.
name this year? What's your name for this year?
Oh my gosh. I should have
It
it.
will come. It will
I
come.
had it. I usually have my mission statement up here, and now it's like not here. But I'm sure it was something. I think it was the year of overflow, year of over.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
this is the overflow year. That's what
I
I
love
called it.
that. I love
And
that. Mine was all adventure. Mine was adventure. Last year, it was all about belief. And it's funny when you choose one word and you really embody that. It's funny how it comes up all the time,
all the time, it's like,
right?
well, because you're like literally writing your year out.
You
You're
are.
you're the author, and then now you have to just walk into it if you do it right, right? Like, and I think
Yep.
that it's the most powerful thing you can do is write things down in a
Agreed.
journal. I have a
Agreed.
manifestation. Actually, I have it right here. My
Yep.
journal's right here. I want to show it.
I love that. I love that you have a journal. I think there's so many different tools that are effective. I love journaling. I think
Yeah.
it's one of those things to get it out of the head and onto
and
paper.
onto the paper. And this one specifically is my manifestation journal. I don't think I've ever shared this on any podcast.
Well,
Yeah,
today's the day, Julie. Today is the day.
but here it is. It's right
Yeah,
here, the year of overflow.
I love that. And what does that mean to you?
I mean, right here, I say all things are possible with faith. Believe
Mhm.
that you've already received. You are a co-creator with God to create a life you can fall in love with. To create a life you can fall in love with. That's what I wrote. And, and then I wrote, let's create a life I can fall in love with, Julie Riga.
Oh, I love that. And you know what's so wonderful about you reading that out loud to us is that it's public declaration. It's witnessing. I am able to witness your transformation.
Yeah,
Because when you say that out loud to somebody else around you, it's there, it's happening, right? I love this. This is one of the things that I think all leaders out there should try. And I'm just going to kind of walk you through it. The leader I am becoming is, and here are some ideas: more present, more courageous, more authentic, more compassionate, more aligned. The goal is not performance, the goal is ownership.
love this. Audrey, this has been an amazing conversation. Where can our audience find out more about what you're doing?
So make sure to go to becominghumanevents.com. That is where you're going to see all of this goodness. We're excited to have you, Julie, be our keynote speaker in Savannah.
So
Uh,
excited.
October 16th. We have limited tickets. It's going to be a small, intimate group. Just so people know, it's going to be people from all different types of industry, but mostly mainly people that are looking for leadership, people that are in the construction industry. We've got billion-dollar company owners coming to this thing. This is big. And I think we're going to be able to not only share tools in order to be more effective, but we're going to be able to network with each other and learn what other people are doing for their own success.
It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to share the stage with you in Savannah, Georgia. And tell us, what is the website that we could find out this information on?
Becoming Human Again events with an S.com. Please check it out. It is going to be, we've got quite a lineup of speakers. We have business coaches, empowerment coaches. We have people that are going to be talking about offsite construction. It's all intertwined with us remembering to become human again.
I love it. What would you like to say to the audience in closing today?
I think that leadership starts from within. I think there's a lot of tools that we can harness in order to have greatness within. One last thing is, what would you change if you fully trusted yourself? And how would that change you today?
I love it. Thank you for leaving us with that. And thank you for being a guest on the Stay on Course podcast.
Thank you, Julie.